Have you ever run for office before, for political office?
Not since I was in school.
What office was that?
I was class president. I was president of the County Regional Association of Student Councils. I mean, that kind of thing.
Was that at Princeton? Is that at Princeton?
No, from elementary school through high school. So,
you got me that time. Okay. So you didn't run for anything in Princeton?
No.
Since 2009, you and your wife, Diane Land, contributed $2,200 to city council incumbents, but nothing to mayoral candidates in 2009 or 2012. Why not?
We just didn't.
You didn't like the candidates?
No, I don't. I think that we were probably contributing in other places.
To maybe some PACs or something that were involved?
No, not in municipal elections, in other races, in federal races, yeah. or other things.
Well, you served on the board of Ballet Austin, Jen Austin, the Anti-Defamation League, but your political activities are mostly focused on the state level, although it was national in the case of the Anti-Defamation League. Now you're jumping into city politics. In a brief few sentences, why do you want to be mayor? All your interest has been in other directions in the past, politically speaking.
I wouldn't characterize it as being in different directions. The reason I'm running is because Austin is at a crossroads. There are a lot of wonderful things about Austin, but I think that there are challenges we face that are risking what makes Austin special. The reason that I stayed here when I got here in '78, and I think that we need to get long-term solutions to some of these issues. And the need to do that's happening at the same time that we're moving to the 10-1 government. And I think that the 10-1 government is a gift to the city and provides an opportunity for a governance culture restart, a whiteboard. And I think that it provides us the dynamic to actually be able to meet those challenges in ways that we haven't been able to in the past. I think that it's critical that we get this right as we start, because however it happens, 10-1, good or bad, is going to get institutionalized and set for the next, who knows, 5, 10, 15 years.
At least for 2 years, because you can't modify the charter for two years.
That's true. But I think so too. The systems. Once the culture gets started and people start getting invested in whatever system gets set, it's really hard to change that kind of culture, absent something like 10-1, which is why that change is such an unusual thing for a city to be able to have. And I think we just need to be able to nail it. And I think if you look at what I've done and what I've been involved in, I have been involved all around these kinds of issues. I graduated from law school. I spent the the 80s doing civil rights law on cases here in Austin.
I didn't know that.
I did probably more Title VII EEOC cases than anybody else in the city. So the hearings examiner told me in the 80s. I was in federal court suing on behalf of workers, Hispanic workers that were being denied promotions, and thus they were being denied the opportunities to go to the heavier pieces of equipment, and the heavier pieces of equipment brought with it the promotions and the additional pay. I was in court for sexual harassment cases, equal pay cases on behalf of women, and handled a lot of cases at the administrative level, both at the Austin Human Rights Commission and the EEOC in San Antonio. So that was activity that was all done in Austin. Right. When I was involved in the legislature at the in the 90s into the early 2000s, a lot of that was statewide, but they dealt with issues that really directly related to what's happening in Austin. Most of that was public school finance issues, equity issues, access issues, trying to drive funding equitably around the state, which is something that is of critical importance to Austin, given the way the school funding formulas work with what's coming into Austin. and then finished that work, and then started doing the nonprofits you mentioned and other nonprofits in the city.
Can you just briefly, what other nonprofits have you been involved in? There was B1 Texas. There was the Citizens Commission that you worked on. There was the Arts Creative Austin Alliance that you worked on, bringing forth a creative plan.
Right. Valley Austin, along the center. So some of the arts boards you hadn't mentioned just a second ago, but
you were on the Long Center board as well. Is that what you said? I didn't actually catch that one.
So I've done a lot of things I think that are, from both a policy and a practical level, have concerned the city. So I think that I have been around those kinds of issues. I have not been on lots of boards and commissions. I think that what we need in Austin right now is a new way forward. What we need to do is take fullest advantage of the whiteboard that we have, to not do things the way we've done them in the past just because we've done them that way before or we're comfortable doing them that way. So I think that I have the skill set to be able to maximize the potential that 10-1 has. And at this point in our lives, Diane and I are in a position where we can do this.